Detox is all the rage, from Beyonce's Master Cleanse to Oprah's Quantum Cleanse. We're hearing about ways to shed pounds fast. Allie Miller, registered dietitian and natural foods chef, is here to clarify the difference between a balanced versus dangerous detox. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
First of all, why would somebody even want to detox in the first place?
Well, you know, with the way that our society is, with industrialized changes, we have a lot of pollutants in the air, our skin products down to our household cleaners, different toxins are all around us. So it's important to continue to detox on an ongoing basis. When we think of a detox, we typically think of a jump-in 10-day fast or something like that. But when you think of toxins, we're not really jumping into a toxic tank once a year. Right. We're really kind of an ongoing exposure. So we want to keep a detox as a progressive, ongoing.
If you were to have problems with toxic overload, so to speak, what were some of the symptoms that you might see in your body that might just be off a little bit?
Yeah, we can have migraines. There can be a bunch of endocrine diseases that are tied with toxin overload, so diabetes, thyroid disorders, skin conditions, digestive concerns like bloating, down to fatigue even.
Well, we're going to get to what you think would be ideal detox,
yes.
But before we do that, I want to talk about some of the different detoxes. Okay, so I've heard of the Master Cleanse.
Yeah,
what is
so
that?
I kind of have that here. That's the maple syrup, lemon, and cayenne. And the idea behind that is that, you're getting your bile going from the liver, and the liver does help detox, but you're truly not giving enough nutrition. You're giving the maple syrup so that you don't crash as far as blood sugar levels, but really that's just spiking your blood sugar without giving you adequate nutrition.
And I've read that people will do that for days at a time. I don't see how you could even sustain it.
Yeah, it's really not balanced for your electrolytes. You get a little bit of potassium from the lemon, and the cayenne pepper is supposed to be thermogenic to help boost metabolism, but it would be so much better done on like a roasted chicken or a dish that would be a little bit more sustainable for calories.
That sounds a whole lot better to me anyway.
Yes.
What about the juice cleanse?
So juice cleanse, I have a little example here. The big thing is sometimes we get really high in sugar on those as well. So you'll see this little container here has about 5 slices of bread in it as far as carbohydrates. Again, going to really spike your sugar without that fiber and some of the important nutrients. And the big thing with both of these is there's no protein. So when you're getting low calories, if you lose weight, you're going to lose it from your muscle weight, and that actually slows your metabolism. So when you go back into food, you're quickly going to regain that weight.
And that's not what we want
Not
to
the
happen.
ideal.
That's not why we're detoxing in the first place. What about quantum? I hear that word a lot.
Yeah, so the quantum cleanse is removing 5 different foods. It's gluten, meats, sugar, alcohol, and coffee. And so, some of that has good theory behind it. Removing the gluten pulls out a lot of the processed foods. But I just like to preach with my patients to focus on what you are getting in versus what you're not, because you could still technically have a gluten-free popcorn and other foods that may not be as balanced in a traditional healthy diet.
Okay, so we've talked about what you're thinking probably aren't some of the brighter ideas. Let's talk about how you think it will really help us. So you're going to show us a smoothie we can make?
Yeah. So when we look at detox, there's actually 2 different phases of detox. These first 2 help to upregulate phase 1, and phase 1 is the release of toxins. So you need to be in low enough calories to release. That's important. But you also need to have the nutrients and antioxidants to support. In phase 1, when the toxins are released, they're actually becoming more active and they can do more danger, and that's where we see issues with cancer and things like that. Phase 2 is actually turning those toxins into water-soluble toxins so they can be excreted out of the body.
Now, when you're saying low calorie, let's just go back for a second.
Yeah.
So typically, talk about the calories that you would normally have versus about how many you should have on the
Sure.
detox.
So, for most women, for weight loss, we say somewhere between 12 to 1,600 calories. On a detox, you can probably pull a good 200 to 400 calories out of there.
Okay.
So ranging from around 800 to around 1,200 would be more appropriate.
Okay.
So you're at a deficit of about 400 calories from where you would be.
Okay. And that's going to help us once we drink this.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to have a lot of nutrients that have sulfur compounds and antioxidants to protect those toxins that are released so they can be carried out through your body.
Okay.
So we have some kale, which is a really nutrient-dense green in here. This is our curly kale. I threw in about a cup. I have some celery in there, some fresh ginger. We're going to put in about a half of an apple, and also a romaine lettuce leaf. So we're getting some active nutrition compounds here. Some mint and some basil, which have antioxidants that can also help to chelate toxic metals from the body.
Those are also flavorful too. I'm sure that's going to help with taste.
Absolutely. And then I'm just going to pour a little bit of water to get the blender going.
And people who aren't used to ginger, it's actually a root, and you just chopped it up a little bit?
Yes, you do have to peel it. You can use the back of a spoon, or you can just use a knife to cut a little bit off so that you're exposing that nice yellow area.
And then you put some water, you said?
So I'm going to give it a blend, and I have a taste for you here.
All right, here we go. Let's see what it tastes like. Do I have a green mustache? Well, it's very veggie tasting. It's a lot fresher than I thought.
Yes.
And it doesn't taste as green as it looks.
Right. And the interesting thing is you get that fiber, so you have some texture to deal with, but you can also freeze them in ice cubes and use them as popsicles.
Well, we'll have the recipe at HoustonTexasFood.com. And I don't know that I would have it for dessert, but to do this, I think I could really drink it and do well with it.
Sure.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Allie, for coming in. Good information, and we hope this helps a whole lot of people. I'm going to try it. I'm going to print out the recipe. I promise I'll try.
Sounds
I'll get back to you on that.